Welcome. A couple people asked Brandon Trueblood rocking out to that is a band, a very obscure band called Wild Side. They would have been huge. Uh, but they came right at the tail end of rock, and then grunge came over. Wild Side. I got the music link in the description, guys. Gerald Montana, Wolf King, Lisa Smith, an OG from a while ago. Good to see you. Results oriented. Hey, you, Brandon Trueblood, SCE, and Master Wrench, BJ Fornash, Jeremy Bailey, all the way from the UK. He's hanging out across the pond. Char's in the house. Good to see you. And Jason Reed from Colorado. Good to see everybody in the chat today. Thought I would, before I got my day on, thought I'd chat, reach out to wonderful men and women that are interested in this message. 98% of women suffer from reality avoidance syndrome for 300 Trebek. What is reality avoidance syndrome or reality avoidance disorder? Well, it is when one believes that they are a princess and they are not. That is as simple as that. They deserve everything in the world because they are a female. And so we see that all over. I was watching a couple live podcasts last night of a certain podcast where the gentleman interviews multiple women that could be construed as a 304. Good to see Riff Rage. And all these 304s or decorated women with ink and fishing tackle and different hair color and snuffleupagus eyelashes and large lips for apparently eating watermelons, all said that they were 10s. They were all 10s. He went around the room and said, now, what do you rate yourself at? This one gal was a pog. We know what pogs are. Fat ass white girls is what the word pog is. She actually referred to herself as a number 10, and she called herself, she was even better because she was a number 10 pog. I'm just watching this going, what? This can't be real. This can't be real. Say it ain't so. But other than that, a lot of these gals believe the hive mind, the reality avoidance, and live in the fantasy that they are 10s, that they deserve a man that has 6'6", not 6 foot anymore, guys. It's gone up to 6'6", minimum, 6-pack abs, minimum high six figures. We're talking 500 grand or more is what they deserve. And we all know that if every woman in that 98 percentile wanted that particular gentleman, genteel man, then they would be competing for 1%, probably not even 1%, probably 1/3 of 1% of all the men in the world, which means they will be lonely for the rest of their life because they cannot go with a hardworking man that might be an electrician or a truck driver or a salesperson or an accountant or somebody that would like to build a relationship with somebody. But today's standards are just so high for men to achieve. It doesn't make any sense. And so we have what you call the reality avoidance disorder. Every woman is in that 98 percentile mentally ill because they suffer from that or Princess Destiny syndrome. Princess Destiny syndrome is a true disorder. All women believe they're princesses. And a lot of these women start feeling that way when they're 3, 4, 5 years old and their daddy or their mommy call them a little princess. And it sinks in. I'm a 10 out of 100, says results oriented. Attaboy. Brandon Trueblood says, also known as a FUWB. Well said, Brandon Trueblood on the highways of America delivering pet foods and boxed wine for 300. Char, they're insatiable. Jason Reed, they have priced themselves right out of the market. That's horrible business, wouldn't you say? Gone with John is back in the chat. Good to see Gone. Good to see the Johnster. Check out John's channel. Always putting out good content. In fact, all the creators in here put wonderful content out. And I always bird dog most of you guys. So I might not comment, but I'm lurking, or I will view at different times. Father Saunders went live last night. And I think Brandon was live as well yesterday. Lisa Smith, most women who think they're a 10 are really not. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. I've never had a bad experience with a Polish girl. They usually are hard workers and are raised in a father-strong Catholic home. Now, they're probably 1 to 2% of the people that Rad believes have decency. However, there's still female nature, and one must bet accordingly and follow the rules of no cohabitation, no marriage, and no kids. Results-oriented. Rad, would you say they are delusional? Well, they would. If I say they're delusional, they're going to call me abusive and controlling and abusive. Well said. Now, Silver Surf Studio is in the house. Good to have you. Good to have everybody here. What a wonderful Saturday. I will go to the gym after this and do a nice workout and watch all the 304s that are walking around in their Lululemons. They're looking for 6'6" guys with 500,000 plus or more, and six-pack abs. They're going to be looking for them at the gym. You know what's at the gym? Protein shakes and farts. I love the guys that sit at the gym all day long. Literally, there are guys, I've been there at 10, and a couple times I went back a couple years ago, like 2 in the afternoon, I was bored. I just wanted to do something. They're still there. Crazy. SCE, our brother says, reality takes a giant dump wherever it wants to. Disney princess indoctrination. DPI, I love that. Unsustainable beliefs, validation, and dopamine dumps are a hell of a thing. A lot of these 98%ers either had a poor father figure in terms of didn't stand up and be a strong father figure, or absent father, or most likely divorced. You can guess that any woman past the age of that was born in 95 or above, probably 80% did not grow up with a father figure. It's really sad. And most men too. So that's why you have the gap between weak men, incels, and delusional women that suffer from reality avoidance syndrome. She will refuse to believe reality because of her feelings, says Jason Reed. Well said, brother. Wolf King, it depends on how you are talking. Polish women are very bad and very horny. I guess it depends on what part or what types. Christian Henne in the chat. I feel you're out. I just think the fifth here is hard to the filth is hard to overcome. Well, if you're a man that has testosterone and enjoys the ladies, our biology seeks fertile, young, attractive women. There's nothing you can do about it, right? It's as simple as that. The subhuman bonehead woman culture here for men is rough. The problem is men. Let's be real. Men have allowed this behavior, have sought after, have thirsted for these gals, which has only increased the amount of women that suffer from reality avoidance syndrome. FJT, Giga Chad Rad, check it in from the workspace. Good to see our brother FJT. FJT's got some delusional women on his channel. Check it out under the wacky voicemails. Rad, if your ex was saying anything about your opinion, like I said before, that'll be all the Heather. Yes, I would agree with that statement. Lisa says the participation trophy phase also contributes to these modern women being so out of touch. Ain't that the truth? Everybody gets a trophy. What trophy? When I was a coach for my kids, I coached most of my kids in at least one sport a year. It was either soccer, basketball, or baseball. Assistant coach in baseball. This one lady would say, we were horrible. It's like, I think we had 1 year that we were decent, but they were young kids, 10 years old, right? Most of these kids were worried about Pokemon at the time. Anyhow, this one lady, I said, we got to the end of the year-end party and they give a coach's gift or whatever, $25, $50 to some, Adidas retailer or whatever. This one lady says, we need to get trophies. And I said, why? We didn't win anything. She goes, well, every kid, just the participation. I go, there's no such trophy for participation. They get a picture at the end of the year with a team picture. That's all you get as a participating. You don't get a trophy anyhow. She went behind my back and bought trophies. Eh? Guess how her boy's going to grow up? Well, he's already grown up. He's probably 22 at this time. He's an incel. Polska Bob's in the house. Good to see Polska. He's delivering for the reality avoidance syndrome ladies that the simps are ordering for. Hey, you Polish girls love their kielbasa. Nothing wrong with that. Good day to skate today here in Connecticut. 50 degrees. It's 31 degrees, I believe, right now. It's a little cold. Watch out for Polish girls. I think we should watch out for all ladies, regardless of their geography. The ladies are potentially, I mean, look at 98% of women are not recommended worldwide. There is a 1% to 2% that I think are decent. I've talked about this one before, and you can agree or disagree. I have a sister that is decent. I have met gals that are decent. Now, they still have female biology. You got to be careful and follow the rules of red pill. All right. You got to watch out for all ladies, Christian. Mysterio from Winnipeg, a serious question. If all men physically left the world on spaceships for a couple months, how would the world run? It would be destroyed in 2 hours. The joke is this. If men were removed from the earth, all men, every single man with a penis was removed. Within 2 hours, the world would be destroyed. If all women were removed from the earth for 2 hours, man will have invented time travel. Think about that for a second. Depends on where you live. Polish biatches here are usually decent because they're from a small village and a strict upbringing. I make them cry with my 10-inch kielbasa. Well, throw some yummy mustard. See what happens. You got to only trust their actions. Don't believe a word a lady says and less than half of what they do. Trust me. Run your life like that. Rad, don't you have actual pumas up there in the mountains near you? That's a good question. I'm not sure about that, but there are wolverines literally 4 miles away from me, all the way at the top. They've spotted 2 or 3 of them. Google wolverine in Utah. That's literally in my backyard. Not sure about pumas. We have cougars and mountain lions, but I think cougar and mountain lion is the same thing. In fact, I was riding my mountain bike a couple years ago, and a cougar was on the top of a rock staring at me. Scared the bejesus out of me. Harshit Sandir from India is in the house. Good to see you, brother. The legendary John Boston is gracing us with his presence. He knows a thing or two. Has there been a time that you and the Rad siblings have gotten together in the recent past? Yeah, I'm close to my sister. I talked to my little brother who's married 2 single mothers, and he's whacked out. Another sister in Montana, we chat. My sister up in northern Utah, we've chatted. She invited me to Thanksgiving, but I had other plans. So we talk. I do have a brother, my oldest brother, who we're about a year and 3 months apart. We don't really chat. He's the oldest. If women were shoved into being in charge, they'd flop with the first 5 or 10 minutes. The boss babes would crash first. Lisa Smith. And Lisa is a lady. She knows a thing or two. Now, you know what? Some people don't like ladies in the chat. I actually appreciate women that come here that want to understand how we think, that have boys. Lisa Smith has 2 boys. I think 2. That she is trying to protect from these 304s. It's as simple as that. She's a strong mother raised by a strong father. Timmy Kramer in the house, golf 3 times this week. That is my reality. Timmy Kramer, the forever bachelor, learning from his uncle at 18 to stay away from the legal license of companionship. Arshid says his favorite channels are this. Well, we appreciate that. And Terrence Pop. Terrence Pop is wonderful. Terrence Pop wants to help men stay alive. Wolf King says the pussy tenderizer, hilarious porn name or license pay. That would be funny. Arvero. And a picture of a kitty cat. Arvero, hello to you, brother. Brandon says there are a lot of cougars in the SLC. There's some good looking women out here. Absolutely. A lot of Mormon blondes, but there are a lot of nothing really is behind the brain cells. Bird brains is what we call them out here. Watch out for the cougars. You got to watch out, especially on the bike. I just avoid Puerto Ricans when I hike. Only wild animal to avoid. Puerto Ricans, they have a Latin temper. Lisa Smith says, I have 2 boys, no girls. I'm very concerned about these modern women creeping into our lives. As she should. As she should. As she should. Good for you. Prawn stars these days are more broken than ever due to social media. Well, who is highlighting? Who just highlighted? Scotty Side highlights a lot of these former prawn stars, and now they're all covered up. Now you can't see their tattoos. They're trying to look all virtual with virtue. It's really sad that they went that route. They chose to become, and maybe some were manipulated. I'll give them, but they chose to use their body to sell their body in some form or fashion to make money. It's really sad. Lisa Smith, correction. We have 2 boys. Atta girl. You and your husband are raising 2 boys. Raise them right. And apparently you are. I've said this for years. Make chastity belts great again. Well, I don't think it's coming back with the Lululemon, but I would agree with that statement, SCE. CJ, if you want to drive the females crazy, give them freedom of choice. Isn't that true? Isn't that true? Mysterio says, when you're almost out of high school, what were your plans in terms of... I went to college. I actually wanted to go in the military, the Navy. My buddy went in the Navy, and I thought that would be cool, or the Coast Guard. And then I got bamboozled to go to college. He went in the Navy, and we kept in touch for several years afterwards, but I have not heard from him for 15, 20 years, and I've tried to reach out, but he won't call me back. Latin temper equals excuse to behave badly. It's just an excuse to shirk social responsibility. Well said, Brandon. People say, you know what, Rad, there's going to be a 3rd world war and all the ladies are going to get back in line. Okay, sure. They'll get back in line for protection and provision. And then what happens when the war ends? Well, what's happening with Ukrainian women? Brandon Trueblood knows a thing about Ukrainian women. He was over there teaching. But what happens? I mean, weren't Ukrainian women and Russian soldiers texting each other on Tinder? There's like videos of Russian soldiers matching with Tinder Ukrainians. Whacked. I say this again. I said this before. Blank was already divorced and she was already lost. She's very washed up. I feel really bad for her. She will eventually probably not pass through life with many years left on her lifespan. I can see her self-deleting. Now that they have money, they want people to forget about how they got that money. Well said, SCE. That's another thing. A lot of these gals say they've been oppressed, that women make tremendous amounts of money. The wage gap, are you kidding me? There's no such thing as the wage gap. There are women executives, and even in my company, that make a shit ton of money. I know a lot of women that make a shit ton of money. All they have to do is go and get a degree, get some experience, and they can move up. In fact, it's being pushed. Look at the Harvard president. She got in because we know why. Why is it easy for women to get SCX all their lives, yet it seems like men have it harder? Well, it's because men thirst after them, and they know that they hold the precious golden vagini. And listen, it doesn't matter if they're fat, ugly, heavy, tall, old, young. Women control the sexual relationship. Men control the commitment. Typically, is how it works. That's why a lot of gals, even post-divorce, will put out because they want a commitment, but most men won't commit unless they're massive simp. You're absolutely right, old Christian. Lazy and uglier. Well, I went to the store the other day, and all these high school senior girls were wearing pajama pants with baggy shirt. They look horrible. Brad would have been a great seaman. I know what you're saying there, Brandon. Riggs Jr. Pliskin suffers from IgDM syndrome. Every time he opens his account, he needs eye bleach. We need to help that brother. Is Stallone still married? I think so, but I bet she's just reevaluating and regrouping for the next big. I bet they divorce. Once she said she wanted divorce, she's only in it so he's going to make more money so she can cash in even more. Perversity higher, well said, SCE. 70% of Ukrainian married women who fled the war are cheating on their husbands who are fighting the war. There you go, guys. Brandon knows a thing or two. I can't wait to see whether women 18 to 25 get added to the draft. That will be interesting. Yeah, if we're so equal, they should be on the front lines with us. Ukrainian men are dying while Ukrainian women are partying. Yeah, I have a thing or two to say about that war, but I won't say it. There is no upside for men and women to have SCX from 15 to 20. If a pregnancy happens, there is not a way that couples. You're absolutely right. I think it damages a man, literally under the age of 18, to have SCX. I think psychology. I mean, I've seen buddies that were damaged. It's like something like they were too young to be in such a older man's game. My Navy experience was cool. I got into trouble all the time, hung out with the short timers, not the goofy lifers, had a blast, made great friends for life. Attaboy. I mean, I thought about going through the Navy. In fact, I talked to a recruiter, but I went to college instead. Dollar store pajama pant biatches with a turd drop hanging. Ain't that the truth? Dollar can only value something hard to get. Females do not enjoy sex. It's just a tool for them. I think that some do, but I think you're right. The majority use it as a utility to get what they want. Manage Roy from Mumbai is back. Good to see you, brother. I hear girls' bell bottoms are back in style. Baggy clothes are back in style. That's right, old Christian. Emrad, let's see. Mr. Hemi's in the house. Good to see you, brother. He's back. It's almost as if both sides were manipulated into going war to satisfy the bankers. Well, there's big money in war. Look how Halliburton made it. Who else? Rockwell. What's the doggone? What's Lockheed Martin? I think there's something called Rockwell Automation for the flight, the big fighter jets. I had a buddy that worked for them. True blood cleaned the ship. That would have been a great seaman. Hell yeah. You know what's cool about the Navy? I think the Navy would be a really cool, if you were a guy that's going his own way. Yeah, you'd have to sit on a submarine or something. Good to see Radical Rafter. But if you were on a ship, don't you have to do a ship? Every Navy guy has got to go to ship for 9, 12 months. But just think about all the places you could see. That just sounds cool. Radical Rafter is back. War does increase stocks. Well said. Why do you think they want us in war? It makes money. Seraphim, back. Good to see you, brother. You were on Father Saunders last night. I just saw a video about an Indian court system dictated by a lawyer and how they see a marriage. Divorce lawyers love marriage because it's just inventory for them. Raytheon, that's it. What about, is Rockwell Collins one of them too? That's what I'm thinking. FJT says, my comments keep getting shadow banned. This platform is annoying. I'm in shadow ban. I think I got 1 subscriber in 2 weeks. Go figure. Rad, did you rock baggy pants during the 90s? Like Jean Co pants? It was a great time to skate. Beastie Boys were a huge influence here on the East Coast. Yeah, I mean, I had some, we skated in some big, like, baggy Levi's and stuff. I never did the Jean Co, though. I worked for Rockwell Automation. They separated the military part of Rockwell Avionics. Yeah, that's what I'm talking. I had a buddy, a skateboard friend, that he was an engineer that designed like new cockpit software for Rockwell. Thank you, John, for checking that out for me. Well, we're coming under scrutiny from all sides, from YouTube, from the government. The government now says the Manosphere is not considered a very good organization. I will not say that word, but if you go on Hammerhand's channel, he just has a community post saying the Manosphere is now labeled as a blank, ends in an IST organization. Can you believe that? Men helping men is now considered evil. The future of America. I like listening to Elon Musk because he's like, if humanity survives in the next 5 years, I mean, we are literally look. Sit back, get your popcorn, and watch the shit show. Rusty Rivers is the best captain of the gay cruise line ships. Oh, you guys are funny. Riggs Jr. Rockwell Colleges won. Rockwell sold off Meritor, the auto parts group. Yeah, they're probably so doggone huge. Absolutely, Christian. Used to work at Pratt and Whitney. I did technical illustration for a few years. There you go. Before election, nothing is new. Well, look at all this. Now the ladies are going to get the simps to travel even that much further because the gas prices has come down. I think the gas price here yesterday was $2.89 a gallon for the cheap stuff. I always put the 91 in my Toyota. But there you go. Before every election, nothing is new. Well said, SCE. Friend of mine works for Boeing, and they use Rockwell Avionics. That's it. And the Osprey. Well, didn't the Osprey just crash? I knew someone that served in the Navy. They said it was cool to sit on the deck of the aircraft carrier watching the Pacific sunsets. I think it would be really cool. Now, would it get old after a while at sea? Yeah, but you know what? Maybe a couple weeks later, you're in a new port. That would be really cool. You could see as an 18, 19, 20-year-old kid parts of the world that 99% of people never see in their life. Like Wolf, like Brandon, like the other folks that have been in it. I'm from the government. I'm here to help. If you ever hear that, be very, very, very leery. The court system sees a marriage that can benefit the woman, whether she remains in a relationship or they want out of the relationship. They're given a pass for their action. Men are punished. That happens here. So that happens here in the U.S. and most countries, westernized countries as well. Isn't it South Korea? If a woman divorced the man gets to keep the kids and everything else. Like she's punished. I know because I wrote the same comment on Rad's last video and got blocked instantly. I don't know which words were triggering the algorithm. I don't know how Better Bachelor escapes the algorithm. I mean, it's literally, you have to talk in like first grade language. So if you guys see comments or notifications, it's typically YouTube. YouTube is undeleted. I've been unsubscribed from multiple channels. I've been unsubscribed from Dak's channel like 6 times. Even his new channel. It's really something that YouTube got rid of the dislike button after the last election. Radical Raptor. Well, they don't want competition, right? You're absolutely right, Lisa. The manosphere is on the list, and feminism is a mental disorder. Mm-hmm. Until I came to your channel in 2020, I never knew the nitty-gritty about divorce. I won't marry on a whim if I do at all. I would encourage you and recommend not getting married, Mysterio, and do the Jonathan Noble way. Excuse me. I used to love sitting up on the flight deck, seeing the sun go down, reading and writing letters to family and friends. I used to sit up on the air tower as well, on the USS Saratoga. Attaboy. Thanks for serving our country, you veterans. I love your videos, Rad, and keep up the great work. Marvel Elite is in the house. Good to see you. But that is the reality. 98% of women suffer from living in the fantasy of life. For some reason, the Kardashians, reality TV shows, and the plight of the simp has caused these women to feel this way, that they are entitled to everything, that they are tens. And men have lowered their morals so much and their standards that they will hit and quit 450-pound women that are ugly, that stink, and those women then move off and say, look at me. I'm a desired woman. And then they believe that they're a 10. My niece graduated from college yesterday, master's of course, 200 grand student loan due, get to work, overweight feminist. Did she go and get a gender studies degree? If you could only do one, go into space or go into the deep sea, which one for me? Deep sea. Yep. What are you going to find in space? That's the thing. I mean, space sounds cool. You know, if you're into Star Trek, all that stuff. I mean, unless there's other planets you can visit, but who knows? Who knows? Yeah, I always used to think, here's a riddle. I used to think Mysterio in the chat when I was young, like 10 years old, like the universe. Okay, I look out in space and it's all dark with stars, and you can see, a shooting star. And it's like, okay, what's at the end of the universe? Oh, there's a big giant brick wall. I don't know if anyone's ever thought this, but Brad did. There's a giant brick wall. And you're like, okay, well, who put the wall there? And then if there's a giant brick wall at the end of the universe on either side, well, what's on the other side? Right? It mind F's you big time. But I would go into deep sea. Deep sea sounds more fun. If you have all of the way to, maintain oxygen. If you teach a lesson to a woman about their actions, you will get punished by the court. It is not equality. It is about superiority. Well said, Manadroid. And John Boston knows a thing or two about court. Since I don't watch much mainstream TV, I'm not exposed to the woke and anti-men nonsense. The movies I've been watching lately are a bunch of, I love thrillers in the outdoors, like thrillers in like blizzard conditions, like The Gray. I like movies like Castaway. I saw a movie yesterday called Damned River in 1989, which is about, it's kind of like, I thought the chick is hot in it, by the way. She looks like a 1980s Playboy model, but I'll put it here, Damned River. But I did like that. I don't watch mainstream TV really anyways. I sure you have seen the female delusion calculator. I sent that woman I know, and first they say there are no good men, then they say the delusion numbers, and they don't believe it. They won't believe anything. Remember, feelings over facts, gents. I've never seen a single episode of the Kardashians, nor have I watched any WNBA games. Those are complete dog and pony shows and complete waste of time. Well said, Lisa. Remember Don Imus when he was watching the college girls play basketball, and he got deleted from his media company. They said, "What'd you do this weekend, Don?" "I watched Connecticut, the women, the Napa-headed hoes. They got tattoos and everything." Just like the WNBA. My thing with the Noble Way is one day when Noble and his lady are at a wedding, his lady is going to get the itch to hooch up with Noble. Then what? Potentially. I think all women like to dig their claws in even more, the majority of them. That's the movie, Damned River, 1989. In fact, there's a couple Canadian actors in there. Mysterio, check that out. It's kind of that old 80s, 1989. I like the way they're filmed back then. I learned about using red pill to capitalize. There you go. Rad, then we must be in the ocean because we must seem to support a lot of parasites. There you go. Do you ever hear that story that the jellyfish is 500 million years old, and the octopus? The octopus, people believe that octopus somehow came from a different planet because the DNA is so wacko. Who knows? Kind of off tangent, but that's very interesting. Go read about the octopus and the jellyfish. The jellyfish is, I think, one of the oldest living creatures, animals ever. 500 million. And the shark. The shark is, I think the shark is the oldest still living animal from its pedigree. But that is the reality, folks. Men have pushed, let's not give a pass to men. We've all been simped out at one point in time, where we thirsted, we tried to do everything. We elevated a woman up on a pedestal until we found out that, that doesn't work, that we are not living on purpose, that women should never be the center of our life. They should be a complement. And even a woman being a complement in our life causes lots of issues now. Because men, if a man is truly on purpose, he'll entertain, hang out with the lady, she'll be a compliment, but his main focus is his purpose, whatever that be. But the purpose in the last 30, 40 years has been the lady, getting a lady, maintaining a lady, maintaining a wife, a girlfriend, a fiance, make sure she's happy. The bottom line, we can't make anybody happy. The only people we can make happy is ourselves. You can't even make your kids happy. You can't even make your kids happy. So your purpose should be making yourself happy, making yourself seek peace, quiet, and freedom. And then it should be your purpose, whether that be traveling, building a business, building yourself up, learning new things, writing a new book, making cool videos, whatever your purpose is, building something, creating something. Then if a lady pops in, you keep your red pill dynamics. Simple as that. But most men can't. And the majority of red pill men, or believe that they follow the red pill, will eventually go back to the plantation, because she's not like that. She's not like that. Please define a character in a movie that is red pill, and how does he dress and what their attitude are. Ooh, we'll have to talk about that. That might be a good channel, a good episode. Don Draper. Don Draper and Mad Men, for the most part. Getting my kids for some Olive Garden, then I drop them off and chill the rest of the day. North, south in the house. Good to see you. I love me some Olive Garden breadsticks, and their salad is dope. Happy wife, happy life is BS, says Lisa Smith. Absolutely, Lisa. Truth is, Rad, we can be alone. Women cannot. They hit the wall, and then they're screwed. Well, I think when a woman is alone, when she realizes that, she goes Full Metal Karen. If you think about it, President Potato is a classic example of lack of masculinity, more blank, more feminism, more of estrogen. You're absolutely right, brother. He is not a strong man in my book. The politics are rigged, man. Absolutely. Swick says, Rad, I get what you were saying about space. When I started thinking about how huge the universe is, light years, it messes. Oh, man, it is a mind closet. I still think about it. In fact, I was listening to Stephen Hawking's, and they were talking about the Big Bang. So everybody believes that there's a huge belief that the Big Bang is what started it all. Well, what was before the Big Bang? Like, how did the Big Bang even occur to start a Big Bang? Like, think about that. But thank you, Swig. That's great that you follow that line of mind-boggling. It's wacko. Why is the divorce rate still at 70%? What is that saying about us all around the world? It says that men are disposable, that relationships are disposable. See, here's the deal. If a woman, and I've seen this with friends, if a woman or a man gets upset about their relationship, gets bored, they instantly dispose of that person and get them on. They get back on social media. They get back on dating sites. It's become so pedestrian to dispose of people that nobody gives an F anymore about true friendship or true companionship, because it's so easy to find somebody else that doesn't bore you. No one's willing to do the hard work, Mysterio. I think that's the issue. Seraphim, we know what makes women happy. Nothing. Attaboy. That would be a great bumper sticker. If anyone wants to get married, if they do at all, you have to be 27 plus. All high school sweethearts fall apart, all of them. I agree. I agree, brother. I hear they pump Potato Joe with blank. He's like geezed out. Oh, he sure is. He's wackadoodle, man. Use it to make money, like selling souvenirs. Use the knowledge. Remember, women spend 90% of all of the money in circulation. Find a product that caters to women's reality avoidance disorder. It's as simple as that. Making them look younger, prettier, happier, healthier. You'll do well. Gentlemen, you are the prize. Never forget that. These women wouldn't do all the crazy things that they do to separate you from your money. That should tell you something, but there's more. Well said, SCE. Do you think that any of your kids did pot? Probably. What are you going to do? It's just a leaf. I'd rather them stay away from alcohol, if anything. That's the worst drug. The Big Bang is a bunch of blank, so there was nothing, then it exploded and created everything. When do explosions create? Was nothing when it exploded. It's just, yeah, I agree with that. I don't know how it started. Who knows? Sell bubbleheads. Well said, Polska. My ex-father is a state senator. If they are red pill, they hide it, but he never gets emotional. I'll give him props. Attaboy. Interesting. State senator. Wow. I'd love to hear some stories, brother. Well, they have to toe the political line that they follow, right? The Big Bang happened when Riggs let out a big old fart. Manage Roy, sell voice toys. Attaboy. Red pill character are basically Clint, Bruce, Denzel sometimes. Yeah, I think you're right there, Mysterio. Especially Bruce Willis. What about red pill men? They should like to buy things like bumper stickers. Red pill men like to buy things that go boom. And they like to drive fast cars with loud engines and go fast and furious and eat a great steak with whole milk and a tall Budweiser and listen to heavy metal and masculine. Men love masculine things. And you see a lot of women that like masculine things today. Women are becoming more masculine in a lot of ways. They're taking steroids to get big muscles. They are having a more masculine voice. There's nothing that turns me off more than a masculine voice in a woman. Nothing. It's nothing feminine. So the USA we do not have Mr. Big. Although I just saw a violet crumble the other day in the grocery store. And it's very hard to get Mr. Bigs. Harmon's is kind of a boutique chain of grocery stores, and I think they have the violet crumble, and that's it. But I love me a Mr. Big and an Aero bar. See, I'm talking Mysterio's language. And the earth is flat. The earth is totally flat, you dudes. Go to Antarctica. Come on, bro. The X family had 45,000 acres. You have got to be somewhere in the Midwest or the South. Big Bang is basically a blank bazillion volts causing a huge shock wave. Problem is, the secret societies don't want you to believe God or science or engineering technology. Yeah, probably. Who knows how it started? Ever see Heavy Metal Parking Lot Rad? Hilarious documentary. No, I should check that out, though. That sounds great. That sounds up my alley. The Big Bang was a compression stroke. The rest is exhausting. Well said. Hawking and the rest of the science are about screaming doomsday, but never about removing the Rothschilds or blank. I can't say that. Probably. You don't want to be wealthy, guys. You want to be truly wealthy. Wealth is peace, quiet, and freedom. Oh, New Mexico. Interesting, brother. Next time I'm in New Mexico, I'll hit you up. I'm supposed to be down in Albuquerque, probably first of the year sometime. Earth is flat. The way to be wealthy, guys, is peace, quiet, and freedom. That's simple as that. You don't need a Lamborghini or Ferrari. It'd be fun to drive. Just maintain those. Maintain them. A Lamborghini's lifespan is 12,000 miles. Every 500 miles, you have to hand tune it at probably 10 to 20,000 to take it into a shop. It's just a pain in the ass to maintain those vehicles. A large house would be great, but it's a pain in the ass to maintain a 10,000 square foot castle mansion. Great. You have a $80,000 watch. It says the same time that mine does for $80. Big deal. True wealth is finding out who you are and living with yourself in different scenarios. Traveling, experiencing new things. That is true wealth. Nobody sat on a bed, their dying bed, and said, I wish I bought another Lamborghini. The steak does sound pretty good. What's your favorite cut? I like me a ribeye, and then I like a top sirloin. If it has a magnetic field, it can't be flat. I have watched a couple of those flat earths. I'm curious why they think that. Yeah, it is what it is. I believe it's round. If it's molten iron, it can't be a magnet. It must be different. I have no vice for alcohol, drugs, or smoke, not even my work. I have never touched a cigarette in my life and never will. Good for you, Mysterio. I miss the days when dudes wore hair long and looked scary and tough. I remember when I went to my first Metallica concert, I was almost 16. The guys older, they were 10 years older than me. Long hair, no shirts, wearing Reebok high tops, jeans, smoking with lighters, scared the crap out of me. I remember those days. And they all wanted to kick the young kids' ass. Sean Connery, attaboy, he's another one. Marriage has turned into a huge risk for young men today. Once a girl goes to college, her mind and body has been turned. Truth, Timmy, truth. $10,000 for oil changing a Lamborghini. Yeah, I don't disagree. Truth is, technically, we were here on Earth, Rad. Just look at the pyramids. Yeah, the pyramids were not built by the Egyptians, I don't believe. They were built by a group before them, I think called a Kemet, We still can't develop a pyramid, and all of the ways that they built those damn things was not built with any of our tools. Let's just say that. There was significant amount of utility and tools and engineering that doesn't even exist today. Those mother effers were built by some other advanced civilization. I tell you what, though, I think Cleopatra would have been hot. She would have been hot to throw down with. New Mexico Santa Fe is nice. Dating an insane rich 304 was not. Do you have coffee crisp? I have not seen a coffee crisp here, but I do like them. And they don't really taste coffee, which I like. They're like a big Kit Kat. Arvero likes the T-bone. Attaboy. You like real red meat. That's a masculine dish right there. Do you stick it to an airline or does it matter who you fly with when you get? I like Delta. I am a Delta member with lots of miles. But if you fly to like Southern Texas, Delta doesn't really fly that way down there, like Brownsville for work. So I had to fly American. And then I did fly United when I went to Guatemala because I got a sweet deal on it. And that United typically is a horrible carrier. Horrible. Like Frontier but United actually was on time. I was pretty impressed. They got me to Guatemala pretty good. But I'm a Delta guy. The Big Boy Bang is not an accident. The Big Bang is wonderful at one point in my life. If you know what I mean. Mike P, I'm a fan of sirloins, more flavor, and they're cheaper. I was not a fan of ribeyes and tenderloin. I have to use A1 on them. Interesting. A1, you know what? I like a way a steak tastes by itself, but I also like A1 sauce. I think A1's good. People say if you eat A1 on a steak, it's not a steak. Yeah, I like them both. I've typically been eating steak without any sauce, just butter and salt and pepper. Prime rib, sirloin, and entire cow is nice too. There's nothing wrong with the cow, I'll tell you that. The way life is going, I can see by the time some of us are in our 80s and 90s, having a life partner will really be an anomaly. It'll be really interesting, Mysterio, to see what happens. Did you hear where Southwest Airlines is now allowing the fatties to take up more seats without? Yes, I saw that. I have sat next to a 450-pounder on the plane, and it is not good. They had to pull up their armrest. Were so hot that they literally made me sweat. My clothes were dripping with sweat. Pyramid stones are 25 tons. Column of Alexandria stands 150 feet tall and weighs 600 tons. Moved and erected in 1883 using only hemp ropes and wooden beams. Interesting. A lot of American rent private Cessnas, as most airport charges fee. Yeah, you can fly smaller planes out here, sure. If you cook it right, a tiny bit of salt and pepper, and it can be perfectly enjoyable, right? Got to have that nice skillet, nice heat. There's a speculation that the Earth is on its 5th or 6th rebuild cycle. Probably. I think you're right, SCE. I am not opposed to open-minded thinking at all. I will listen to any sort of theory and decide for myself what I think it is. So if we challenge your dogma, we are simps. Sounds like a cult by definition. New York strip with twice baked potato with ketchup and some asparagus or green beans. You got to ride on the plane from LA to Vegas, prawn stars and strippers the whole way. Actually, when I flew from Vegas to New Orleans, yes, there was a bunch of 304s coming in for the weekend. Poon pounding is easy now. Holidays, give them a fake name like Fletch. Oh, that's funny. All right, I'm not going to say that. You can't say that word, I'll tell you that. I like it charred on the outside in a cast iron skillet, then put in the oven for 10 to 15 minutes. I like medium well or medium rare. I'm listening to this on the unit. They really think their careers and salaries are going to keep them warm when they're elderly. It's funny. Ishii Banks knows a thing or two. The majority of the people he worked with are ladies, nurses who are 304s in disguise. There's a supper club up here that does a 6-ounce sirloin with a bowl of soup and a nice crispy hash browns with a brandy. OF, sweet is great. Oh, that sounds delicious. You guys are making me hungry. Do you think when your sons are out of school, you'll do a big trip with them? I did a big trip last year, went to Mexico, and yeah, that probably. My son will be a pilot at that point, so maybe we'll get airline tickets at no cost. Yeah, I'd like to do more of a, maybe go somewhere either more southern, Colombia, Argentina, somewhere down there. Do you have a Longhorns? We used to have a Longhorns down here, Mysterio, but I don't know anything about the Ram Steakhouse. Brandy Old Fashions, I guess, are a Wisconsin thing. Did not know that, Mike. You know what? That the first using ad hominem lose the debate. Oh, yeah. Longhorn is here as well. I never said cult. I want people to know the truth. Here's the deal. There's a lot of conspiracy theories out there. There's a lot of, I mean, go learn about all this stuff. Go learn about flat Earth. Go learn about the Big Bang. Go learn about consciousness, quantum physics, and decide for yourself what makes sense. Look at the facts. Don't use your feelings. That's what women do. What name do you give to a 3 or 4 who asks your name? My name is Sledgehammer. That's funny. You could be like Phil McCrevis. How about that? Phil McCrevis. Aldi has some dope-ass grass-fed steaks on the kind of cheap. We don't have any Aldis out here. I would love to go and do an Aldi. I've heard they're pretty cool. There really is no reason to be heavy. Fasting actually works. Well said, but the majority of Western men and women keep getting fatter. All right, guys, we're good here. We don't need to be worried about that. We need to worry about how we can understand that to stay out of situations that could potentially ruin us financially, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually by putting women on the pedestal and allowing them to continue with their reality avoidance syndrome. That's what we need to focus on. And we actually have stuff that works. We sure do. Brian's back. Do recall a Sega Genesis game entitled Flashback, similar to the movie They Live. Hope all is well. Good to have you, brother. Brian Renard Davis in the chat. Tell everyone about your Sasquatch theory where S jumps into different dimensions. I believe that there is such thing as a Sasquatch. In hieroglyphics around the world, there is some sort of abominable snowman, a Sasquatch looking, a swamp beast, something that takes the appearance of a Bigfoot, which we would call in the Western world. There's all sorts of names for them. In South America, to Antarctica, to England, to Russia. But I believe that the Sasquatch somehow is an interdimensionary being that when you try to take a picture, it's always fuzzy or you can't see them because they know. They're highly conscious beings. They need to end no-fault divorces. Yeah, they won't, though. It is an income stream for governments. Men's Daily Advice is back. Good to see you, brother. Check out his channel. He does some good stuff. What's up with the Small Hat Mafia? Nobody is beyond criticism. Attaboy. I mean, my biggest issue here is that there's less and less consequences for women to divorce. Well, they get prizes. I mean, that's the bottom line. The best way to stay out of a divorce is not to get married. Right? As a Catholic, I don't believe in divorce at all. And for a long time, they will not get, they won't. Yeah, absolutely. Catholics, you would get excommunicated if you divorced because you were unhappy or because he was controlling. I think the only ways they allowed Catholic divorces up, I think, was it 2005? They reversed that, was if there was massive physical abuse or some sort of drug abuse or financial abuse, something really crazy, or infidelity. You could not get divorced in the Catholic Church and maintain your membership if you were unhappy because he was abusive and controlling. Like my Vietnamese girl, she was worried I would leave her alone in the U.S. if she came here. My biggest issue is nothing. Says she won't just leave me and take everything. Just don't bring him back here, Mikey. Props to the state of Tennessee for requiring DNA tests for all births. I saw that. How does the devil's breath work? It's really so powerful that you could get a rich man to sign over his fortune to us. Go watch the documentary on Vice. It's 37 minutes long. It's on YouTube. It's called The Devil's Breath and Vice, and he talked all about it. You'll be, man, it controls. I'm surprised they don't do it in war times. I saw a Sasquatch. It took my last dime, ran into the woods, and told me it didn't exist. I'm telling you, I'm going to make a movie. You guys watch. What's funny is I think she did that to her current partner after she got everything she wanted. They fought a lot. She was hanging with other men, went to Vegas with her friends. Sad. There's actually a 90-day fiance about a black guy from the East Coast that goes to Vietnam to get with a Vietnamese woman, and basically follows that exact sequence that you just described. How much do you think you need? I need at least 6 hours. My apologies for being okay. We'll apologize. We were good. We're all buddies here. And they have a kid, and sadly, I think that kid is going to grow up thinking this is normal and acceptable. Well, that's the problem. What one generation tolerates, the other embraces. So yeah, the kids today are simps and incels and weak, and they're going to continue that until men stand up. But I think we're on the tail end of this cycle, as SCE talks about. How often do I just saw a friend last week? Probably not much. Maybe once every month, every 2 months. I had a huge half acre in the marital house. I wanted to build a big, like 9-foot vert ramp, but never did. And then got divorced. My house now is 3 stories. A couple guys have been here. I do not have a yard to mow, which is what I wanted. I do not have weeds to pull. I do not have to fertilize. I do not have to water because it's all irrigated. And I do not have to remove snow. I'm all about me now. Divorce Court, great movie. Yep, you guys all need to go watch Divorce Court, as she says. Polska, I've seen the documentary on the Devil's Breath. It takes away any free will you have and completely leaves you open to suggestion. Yep, no matter how extreme it is, and they have no memory. Yeah, it is. It is scary, guys. It's on YouTube. YouTube, Vice, and Devil's Breath. Those camera issues for Sasquatch are pretty significant. Otherwise, that shaved Sasquatch Lonely fans would have been lucrative. Love it. If you have $50, you're not an incel. Attaboy. Guys, this has been a great stream. Go enjoy your Saturday. Stay away from the modern day Sasquatch, and be safe. Rebel against defeat. Chase excellence, masculinity, men first.